again, everyone. Brian Gumbel and Mike Adamle welcoming you back to NFL 79. We're in the midst of Sunday number 11. Very busy afternoon here at AFC Action. We'll try to get you all caught up on just what is going on. In Houston, we've got a game that we knew it's going on just as we knew it would be. Two very good teams with playoff aspirations. The Raiders and the Oilers, they're dead even now, 14-14. And Mike, you and I talked about it early on about the difference in the AFC, NFC, perhaps being great coaches in the AFC. We've got two very admirable men down in the Dome.
Well, I think the jury is still out on Oakland's coach, Tom Flores. This team is only 6-4 in his first year, but no doubting the abilities of Bum Phillips. He has been super. Oilers got on the board first when Earl Campbell. Watch him get tagged here by Jack Tatum, but it's not enough, and he goes into the end zone 7-0. Oakland came back in the first quarter when Ken Stabler with all kinds of time, and when he has time like this, look out. Here he finds Raymond Chester over the middle to make it 7-7. In the second quarter, Dan Pastorini, who has had some hard times this season, finds Ken Burrow alone in the secondary, past Monty Jackson, touchdown to make it 14-7. Raiders answered with another one. It's 14-14. Oilers 7-3, Raiders 6-4. Key game, just as you said.
Indeed it is, Mike. NFL people like to talk about parity throughout the NFL, but there is no parity with the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're in a class by themselves, and it's the Chiefs' day in the barrel today. Third period, Steelers 20, Chiefs nothing. Mike, this team is getting absolutely boring. They do whatever they want to.
I got to believe that they could beat an NFL All-Star team. I seriously believe that. They have all pros at virtually every position with Bradshaw, with Kolb. It's a fantastic performance, and it makes the job of Chuck Noll that much more easy. Actually, the Steelers reverted to a trick play early on, the flea flicker. Harris to Bradshaw to Stallworth, 26 yards and an early 7-0 lead for Pittsburgh. And then Bradshaw found Lynn Swann, and watch this patented Swann reception. He's quite an artisan. 14-0 early on. Kansas City looks like they're going to have no chance at all to even get close in this ballgame.
You know, it's not just the points they score and the scores they win by. It's how they do it. And they make it look very, very easy.
Oh, beautiful.
No substitute for talent. Detroit out in front of Tampa Bay, 7-3. This ball game now at the half. The Lions with a 1-9 record in search of only their second of the year. Bo Robinson's 6-yard run, the lone score in that game. Miami, Baltimore. This ball game just getting started. The second half. It's third period score now. Miami's out in front, 13-0, ahead of a very Colts team that's had some good fortune in recent weeks, but is having quarterback problems of late, the same as Miami has had in recent weeks.
Well, Burt Jones, who stirred the Colts to 4 victories in the last 5 outings, was hurt last week, and he's on the sidelines. Bob Griese has been questioned about his physical health. However, he insists that he's as healthy as he's ever been as they compare arms. Watch some of the action in the first quarter. Griese back to pass, 18 yards in the end zone. There's Nat Moore, touchdown. Miami was given an early 7-0 lead. This is a key game for the Miami Dolphins after that heartbreaking loss to the Oilers last Monday night.
They should have compared their left arms. They might have found them in better shape. Buffalo against the Jets. Early on this year, the Bills beat the Jets 46-31 when Jerry Butler scored 4 touchdowns. Butler not in uniform today. The Bills are leading the Jets 7-6. The Jets are adjusting to life without a great wide receiver of their own, and that's Wesley Walker.
At least they can call on the NFL's most potent rushing attack in the personage of Scott Durkin, Kevin Long, and company. However, Buffalo cannot do that. Jerry Butler's replacement, however, Lou Picone, a little wide receiver I used to play with, is having a good afternoon. He catches a 20-yard reception from Joe Ferguson here. Nice move on the defensive back, puts Johnny Lynn down, and it set up a 1-yard touchdown run by Mike Collier. Here it is. It gave Buffalo a 7-0 lead. But the Jets came right back, drove all the way down to the 1-yard line where Kevin Long took it up and over. The extra point was missed. Buffalo led early 7-6. The Jets are 5-5, and Walt Michaels has stressed to his club that this is a must-win situation for them.
Okay, the Redskins and Cardinals have something about the number 17-7. That was the final when they met a few weeks ago, and it is the score today as they break for the half. Both times Redskins out in front, 17-7. There are 2 upsets going on in the state of Ohio. This one in Cleveland not being enjoyed by Ohioans because the Seahawks are out in front, 16-3. They've rebounded from last Sunday when they could get only -7 yards against the Rams. Mike, I liked your comment earlier as they must have had a good case of amnesia because you got to put something like that behind you.
Well, Patero had a little watch and was going, you will forget, you will forget. For Jim Zorn, he had to forget last week's performance. It was his worst of his career, but this afternoon he's played extremely well. So has Sherman Smith. He's rushed for 2 touchdowns, including this 6-yarder here that gave the Seahawks an early 7-0 lead. Zorn hit Largent, number 80, his favorite receiver, for 47 yards, all the way down to the 1-yard line to set up a second Sherman Smith touchdown. And that ought to make Sherman Smith's friends and family happy. He bought 52 tickets to this afternoon's game.
He may break even if they win. We mentioned that there are two upsets going on in the state of Ohio. Obviously, the other one is going on in Cincinnati, unless you know of an NFL team that I don't. Bengals are out in front of the Chargers 14-13. Bengals jumped out in front 14-0, but the Chargers have been coming back. Mike, the Chargers thought they were Super Bowl contenders, but they really tend to waver. They lose their concentration at odd times, like falling behind a day.
It's games like this that is going to determine whether they are indeed a super team in the caliber of Pittsburgh. Homer Rice, his team, the youngest, the most improbable, certainly, in the NFL. They led 7-0 when Ray Griffin picked off this Dan Fouts pass, and watch him go. 95 yards in all to give Cincinnati an early 14-0 lead. However, San Diego has come back with 13 points of their own, and this is a key game for San Diego. They would like to go 8-3, and certainly they would like to be considered in the same classification as the Pittsburgh Steelers.
That's tough. That's tough going. Okay, very quickly, late scores. Rams out in front of the Bears 9-0 in the first period. New Orleans leading the 49ers 17-0 in the second, and Green Bay in the second leading the Vikings 7-0. Still to come later today, it's New England against Denver from Mile High, and later tonight on NBC, Strongest Man in the World on Disney's Wonderful World. That followed by Al Pacino and Dog Day Afternoon. Second half, let's go back to the ballparks.